All right, let's talk about something we've all felt. That feeling of chaos. You know, when you're facing a storm of conflicting ideas, broken processes, and just pure frustration. This is a story about that. But more importantly, it's about how you can take all that mess and forge it into a clear path to excellence. We're going to break down the blueprint for navigating that exact kind of chaos. You know, we have this idea that great things come from perfect, orderly plans. But let's be real, that's just not how it works. True innovation, it's almost always born from friction, from frustration, from those messy situations that force us to stop and think differently. So this chaos we're talking about, it isn't the problem. It's actually the starting pistol. It's the catalyst.
So that's the big question, right? How do you actually build a roadmap when you're in the middle of a storm? Because you can't just sit there and hope for clear skies. That's a recipe for disaster. You have to build something solid, something structured to guide you through all that turbulence. So let's dive in and look at the first piece of that puzzle.
Okay, so to get out of that storm, the very first thing you need is a solid tool, a foundation. And in this case, that foundation is built with a really powerful methodology called design thinking.
Now, when you hear the word design, you might think it's just about making things look pretty. But let's get that idea out of our heads right now. Design thinking is a total shift in focus. It's about stop obsessing over the problem and start obsessing over the people who have the problem. The goal is to deeply understand their experience so you can build solutions for them and maybe even with them.
So here's how it actually works. It's a 5-step loop that takes you from a fuzzy, abstract problem to a real, tangible solution. It all kicks off with empathy. I mean, really understanding what your users need. Then you ideate. That's the fun part. Brainstorming all kinds of wild ideas. Next, you build a quick and dirty prototype to make that idea real. And here's the crucial bit. You test it. You get it in front of real people for feedback. And based on what you learn, you refine and implement. It's not a straight line, it's a loop, a cycle that's all about constant improvement.
Okay, but having a great process like design thinking is only half the battle. It's like having a high-performance engine. You can't just drop it in any old car. It needs the right chassis, the right environment to really shine. It needs the right culture. So the next question is, how do you actually build that culture of excellence to make it all work?
Well, the foundation for this culture comes down to a simple but really powerful idea, the 3P triangle. Think of it as the bedrock that gives the entire organization a clear, stable identity. It's what makes sure everyone is on the same page and pulling in the same direction.
And the magic word here is alignment. It's all about getting these three things in perfect sync. You have your purpose, that's your core why. You have your process, the systems you use, and you have your people, the ones making it all happen. When those three things are aligned, man, you create an incredibly stable foundation. It's like the glue that holds the whole operation together.
So once you've got that stable foundation with the 3P triangle, what's next? Well, you've got to build up the skills of the people on that foundation. And that's where the 3C cube comes in. This framework defines the essential skills, the core competencies that everyone needs to thrive.
And what's so interesting here is that it's not just about the technique, the hard skills, the practical stuff you need for the job. That's important for sure. But it's equally about having the right attitude, a growth mindset, being resilient. And it's also about applying solid logic, that critical thinking muscle. You absolutely need all three legs of this stool to succeed. One isn't more important than the others. So what powers this whole framework? Think of it as an engine running on 5 pillars. And just listen to these words: learn, upgrade, create, connect, and reflect. They're all verbs. They're all actions. This isn't some checklist you do once and forget about. It's a continuous cycle that's designed to drive constant, sustainable improvement. And get this, it's not all just heads down, grinded out work either. The whole framework is supported by things like these 18 spine clubs that focus on health, balance, and well-being. And that's so important. It's a recognition that for success to be sustainable in the long run, you have to support the whole person, not just the employee. Okay, so we've got the process, design thinking. We've got the culture, the 3 Ps and the 3 Cs. But what's the point of all this? What does this system actually produce? Let's shift gears and look at how all these abstract ideas get turned into tangible, real-world results. This is where the rubber really meets the road. We're talking about high-impact stuff like hands-on projects, hackathons, and even programs that get teams up and running with generative AI. This is exactly where people get to flex those technic and logic muscles we talked about. This isn't theory anymore. This is the framework in action. And it's really important to understand that the end goal here isn't just a pile of finished projects. That's a byproduct. The real outcome, the main product, is people. This entire system is basically a talent incubator. It's designed to churn out a new generation of certified professionals who are genuinely ready for the crazy demands of the modern world.
And just look at how wide this impact is. We're not talking about something that's stuck in one little corner. This framework is creating these future-ready professionals across a ton of critical sectors: IT, business, engineering, even health. That just goes to show you how powerful and adaptable this model really is.
All right, let's take a big step back for a second. We've seen the nitty-gritty, the process, the culture, the immediate results. But what is all of this for? What's the moonshot, the grand vision that's driving this entire massive roadmap?
Here it is, 1,000. The mission is to create 1,000 AI startups. I mean, just let that sink in. This is a massive leap beyond just education or training. This is about creation on an incredible scale. It's a vision to build an entire ecosystem of innovation, turning what people learn directly into real companies.
Now, you can't even dream of a goal that big, that audacious, without the right philosophy baked into the very core of your culture. And that philosophy is the growth mindset. It's this fundamental belief that you're not fixed, that abilities can be developed. It's seeing challenges as opportunities. And crucially, it's seeing failure not as a dead end, but as a necessary stepping stone on the path to success.
So let's bring it all home and look at the whole journey. Remember where we started? In a storm, a mess of conflicting ideas and frustration. But with a structured process, with a clear purpose, that chaos was forged into clarity. That frustration was transformed into real, tangible innovation. It's an incredible transformation.
Ultimately, this is what it's all about. It's the synthesis. It's where rigorous, hard logic meets boundless human creativity. It's about taking the incredible power of AI and harnessing it, not just to build cool tech, but to actually make things better for everyone. So there you have it, a powerful blueprint for turning absolute chaos into incredible creation. And the principles here, they're universal. Start with people, build a clear framework, commit to a ridiculously bold vision. So the final question I want to leave you with isn't about this roadmap we just saw. It's about yours. What could a roadmap like this unlock for you and your journey?